Though they're on their way, the Jeep lineup is currently absent of any fully electric SUVs. But it does sell a pair of plug-in hybrids under the 4xe sub-brand. And this one here is the flagship model, the all-new Grand Cherokee, with 25 miles of all-electric driving range, a gas engine that turns it into a hybrid, and all of the off-road engineering you'd expect from Jeep. In a pecking order that starts with fossil-fueled and ends with all-electric, the plug-in hybrid resides in the penultimate position, giving EV-phobic shoppers a softer landing spot. Range anxiety doesn't exist here because the gas engine serves as a security blanket. Though this Trailhawk 4xe can't top the 506 miles of driving range provided by the Grand Cherokee's V6, it's still rated at a healthy 470 miles, the first 25 of which can be gasoline-free. A 17 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery underneath the floor stores the electricity, which can be summoned to assist the turbocharged engine or to power the vehicle outright. With a fully charged battery, a process that can take as little as 2 to 3 hours at 240 volts, the 4xe's traction motor and its 134 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque handle propulsion duties up to the point where your right foot commands more than can be delivered. At that time, or when the battery's state of charge is less than 1%, the Grand Cherokee becomes a traditional gas-electric hybrid. And because it uses a smaller second electric motor as a generator in place of a conventional alternator, the engine start-stop system can operate for longer and more seamlessly to improve efficiency. The Grand Cherokee 4xe's fuel economy is estimated at 56 mpg-E, which is an equivalent to that of a vehicle without a plug. But this number is highly subjective depending upon usage. If kept charged and trips are short, an owner may use very little gas, whereas travel beyond 25 miles will diminish efficiency. One of the coolest 4xe features is eSave, a driver-selectable mode that won't unleash the electrons until called upon. For instance, driving to the trailhead can be the responsibility of the Turbo 4, reserving the electric motor to provide nearly silent off-roading. And that's the 4xe's most novel characteristic, leaving the blacktop behind and enjoying the solitude afforded by electric motoring. The Trailhawk is the Grand Cherokee to have if you're serious about going farther. Most importantly, it includes a 4-corner driver-selectable air suspension, Jeep's best four-wheel drive system with a limited slip differential, sway bar disconnect for greater wheel articulation, and Goodyear Wrangler Territory all-terrain tires. Select Speed Control complements the 5 select terrain settings, acting as a slow-speed cruise control for low-gear grunt work. And if you think it can't ford water, think again. The high-voltage components are heavily protected, allowing the 4xe to troll through up to 2 feet. Pertinent controls for the 4x4 goodies are easily accessed on the center console, while the in-depth off-road pages on the touchscreen are brilliant. Chrysler does these sorts of electronics interactions better than any other. If you're considering a Trailhawk, then at some point you envision yourself out here. Suspension raised, terrain mode selected, and the trail cam on. And with the 4xe, it's even more simpatico because you can do it in near silence on pure electric. See, with the eSave mode, you can save the battery power for when you arrive at the trail. And with big ground clearance and these all-terrain tires, this Grand Cherokee is having no problems traversing the mud and rocks. Power folding side mirrors, a 360-degree camera with a forward-facing trail view, and dummy-proof driver assistance features make for a stress-free day in the mud and over the rocks. The Trailhawk feels overly qualified for what I've been throwing at it. There's even a rear backup camera washer, a head-up display, and a breadcrumbs feature in the navigation system, allowing a trail to be left behind in order to guide you out of the woods once the fun is over. It's all brilliantly executed, visually appealing, and intuitive. Because the 4xe uses a regenerative braking system which generates power for the high-voltage battery, there's a real feeling of one-pedal drive when max regen is selected on the dash. Release the accelerator, and the vehicle slows as if the brakes were being applied, just like in a full EV. But just like any plug-in hybrid, the drive is most satisfying when the gas engine is sitting it out. The 2-liter turbo produces 270 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque on its own, but its NVH levels are prominent enough to be felt through the steering wheel. And though regular unleaded is acceptable, Jeep recommends premium for optimum fuel economy and performance. Combined with the added output of the electric motor integrated with the 8-speed automatic transmission, total system horsepower is 375 with an impressive 470 pound-feet of torque. The 4xe does feel lively off the line, but it's also about 500 pounds heavier than the Grand Cherokee V8, and its towing capacity is reduced from 7,200 pounds to 6,000 pounds. Ride quality on the air springs is super cushy, and the cabin noise level is hushed despite some din from the knobby tires. Equipped with the luxury Tech Group 3, a dual-pane panoramic sunroof, and rear seat video Group 1, this is Wagoneer-level extravagant. Base MSRP of the Trailhawk 4xe is $67,055, while this one checks in at an eye-opening $74,960. That's big bucks no matter how you cut it. For that price, it wouldn't be crazy to expect a fully electric Grand Cherokee. Offsetting the sticker shock is a roster of high-end features, including night vision with pedestrian and animal detection, a second smaller touchscreen in front of the passenger seat with access to Amazon Fire TV for auto and to many of the controls found on the main 10-inch screen, Napa leather seats, massaging seats, quad-zone climate control, and modern seat-back video screens for rear passengers with access to Amazon TV. Painted in Baltic gray with a cool Trailhawk hood graphic and signature blue accents inside and out, I love the build of this Trailhawk 4xe. It's got the tough Jeep look and the goods to back it up. The new Grand Cherokee is offered in a number of trim levels with 4, 6, and 8-cylinder power, not to mention the 3-row L models. While Jeep readies all-electric variants of every SUV it sells, expected by 2025, the Grand Cherokee 4xe and Wrangler 4xe convincingly whet the EV appetite. For TopSpeed.com, I'm Steve Hammis.